Good morning. Hello. Thank you for your patience. We are now airing at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Welcome and good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Metaphysical Report. It is December 4th, 2019, and it is Wednesday. My name is Alexandra Tempest. Yes. So today I will be sharing with you the day's astrology, numerology, a card guidance, and some other exciting things. I apologize for being 5 minutes late, but here we are now. So what I would like to open this report with is a little energy clearing and kind of giving everyone out there a blessing or affirmation, or it's just kind of like setting the day for you in my intention. You can take a moment to set the intention for your day as well. And now I would like to affirm the day for you and just kind of give like a blessing, which you're free to accept or not. So on this day, I ask that your day ahead be full of pleasant experiences, good luck, and insights for yourself and your life, and how you would like to carry yourself forth in the next year. I affirm you as happy, healthy, whole, and complete. May your day be successful. May you find a moment of peace. The universe will send you signs today, a little hint about something that's been on your mind. This is my blessing for you today. So now we are going to talk about the astrology of the day. So Sagittarius is, well, the sun is in Sagittarius. So now what is being illuminated and emphasized is our personal philosophy, and the influence here is to broaden our perspectives, whether it's about career, love, relationships, family, what all these things mean to you, what your role is, how it should be, what other people's roles are, to broaden your views beyond what they have been. Jupiter is in Sagittarius, so if you can do this, it will be beneficial to you, and when you broaden your perspective, you will be able to see things that you could not before, including opportunities and things in yourself and ways that you can grow. Venus, Saturn, and Pluto are in Capricorn. So if we are feeling kind of limited or trapped or constrained or unhappy with our circumstances, and more specifically our romantic relationships, our relationships with our family, and in our home life, we are being asked to take responsibility for the choices that have led us to our current position, and to take responsibility for getting ourselves out, rather than waiting for other people to change or the situation to change, to take the initiative and to be self-sufficient and independent, pull yourself forward. This is assisted with Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, giving you a push, connecting you with your true feelings, the way that you really feel about everyone and everything, rather than being disassociated from it or ignoring it. You are connected, so you may actually be feeling possibly more irritable and moody lately, but that's because there's something going on deeper inside of you that doesn't want to be pushed away. So at this time, it should be a tad easier to mentally be aware of those deeper feelings. Let's see, the moon is waxing in Pisces, so our attention is turning outward towards the world around us, to our situation, to other people. On the inside, we have a need for emotional nurturance. We may be feeling extra psychic at this time, or even more connected to our inner sense of deeper knowing. Neptune is also in Pisces, which kind of adds some emphasis, as there is deeper knowing and knowledge rising out of the subconscious to consciousness. And the moon, or inner self, is connected to this as well. So it's not just intuitive information, but things inside of you coming to consciousness. And it is up to you how you decide to integrate that new information. Finally, we have Uranus in retrograde in Taurus. This is a time of reassessing our comfort zone, the way things have been, to review changes in our consciousness, and to ask ourselves if this is really how we want to continue forward. So that's the astrology report for today. These are excellent influences for the end of the year, although it may make the holiday season a bit more tumultuous and harder to deal with than usual. Because if there's anything you've been trying to hide from yourself or ignore about seeing your family and home and your relationships, you're going to be even more aware of it. But if you choose to, it can be a great time to get in alignment with yourself and your true desires, and to start taking charge of your life and to make decisions in according with those desires. All right, next is the numerology of the day, and I'm going to grab my book. It's under some things. Here we go. It is the 4th, so it is a 4-day. A 4 vibration is solid, responsible, and seeks security. 4 is kind of like the number of structure. It's the number of like a square of buildings. Most rooms have 4 walls. So I like to think of it like that. It's a good time to focus on the structures of your life. Are you building good structures? Are they going to last? Do they really work for you? It is a good time to continue to focus on solidifying what you've made if you are happy with it. The book has to say about the 4th of the month: it is a perfect day to get caught up on all your bills. If you have let the housework go, this is also an ideal day for cleaning. Try to learn something new. pick up a book you've wanted to read. Whatever you do, avoid confrontations. People love to argue on a 4-day, and it is really a waste of time. If you are normally outspoken, bite your tongue. You will definitely regret what you say if you don't. I'm not sure that I always agree with the numerology synopsises, but they are interesting. Essentially, 4 days is a good day to tie up any loose ends and finish any stray to-dos on your list. So that is the numerology. Whew. I hope everyone is doing well today. It is good to see everyone. Just reading the comments. Yes, we're going to be adding it to the start screen, but it is just an image, so there's never sound during that. It's sort of like a way to start the stream and have it all pulled together so that way you guys, when I am here, I'm ready to go. So next, I would like to share with you guys a crystal healing. And what I like to do is share with you guys a certain crystal and channel its energy to you. Today, I would actually like to focus on quartz. So this is not all the quartz I have. Quartz is my favorite crystal. So I will be using a few pieces to work on your energy now. It's up to you if you would like to participate. Quartz is, you know, if you can only have one crystal, I'd say either pick calcite or quartz. Quartz in particular is amplifying. It has a way of kind of taking in energy and filtering it. It can be very protective and defensive, and it's great for programming with specific intentions. So I'm going to channel the energy of these quartz crystals to you now. All you need to do is sit, relax, and allow yourself to receive. This next one is shaped by a heart. It was actually gifted to me by a crystal vendor. It's pretty great. if there are any of you who are trying to develop your psychic skills, something that's in your way is your own bias. Just let go of all your points of view. You have to be completely open to anything to really see. Giving emphasis to your own energy to kind of push out anything foreign to you and harmful to you. I'm going to bless each of your hands. The left one to help you receive. And your right to help you create, express, achieve. And now this smaller orb last. Focusing on the bottom of each of your feet because they symbolize the way, how well we are able to move forward and how we move forward. Hey love, could we get some of that incense over here?
Yeah.
So this is a healing incense. I'm gonna send some of that to you.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Just allow yourself to be surrounded by this de-stressing, purifying incense. Thank you. Concludes the crystal healing. And we're using quartz today.
Fantastic. I was just blessing our home for the day.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna leave the remaining stuff there for you to enjoy while you're doing the stream.
A woman always has the best blessing for a home.
At least yours does.
Yeah. The incense is called Tara incense, and it's a blend of like a zillion herbs. Oh, here's the box. Tara Healing Incense, special inhalant for relieving stress, tension, and depression. It works. Tara healing incense, which has been used for centuries old, is a traditional Tibetan medicine for stress, depression, and tension. It is prepared by hand according to ancient Tibetan medical system and is composed of 31 different pure and natural herbs. It is effective, non-toxic, and non-addictive. And it is manufactured and supplied by the Tashi Choeling Monastery. You can kind of see.
It is my favorite thing on the planet.
This is the best incense I've ever had the pleasure of using. And it really actually has an effect on your mental state.
It even helps my cats.
Oh, that is so interesting. A few people have commented that they smell lavender. I haven't burned lavender before, but I could see how it is similar. Yeah. Wow, if I turn on the other camera, you'd just be getting like a stream of incense because it's like blowing into the camera. I'll show you guys real quick. Card angle. So this is the incense right here, and the smoke is heading right at the camera. I think you could see it a little. Just notice it was blowing directly at it.
Alright, switch back. Not the right scene for this show.
Where can you order that? We bought it from a health food store back when we lived in California, so we have to actually figure out where we need to order it now.
I would just Google it, guys. I'm
Yeah.
sure that it's something that you can find.
Yes. After this, check out my page. I will post a link if I find one. Otherwise, it's Tara Healing Incense. All right. Next is the affirmation of today. Is that the Good Fortune incense?
Yep. It's the beginning of the month. I haven't done it yet.
Great. So, I would like to read this affirmation to you the first few times. I'm going to say in first person and then in second person. I find having someone read an affirmation to you very powerful. And then we will say it together. So I will begin. I trust the process of life. All I need is always taken care of. I am safe. I trust the process of life. All I need is always taken care of. I am safe. Now, second person. You trust the process of life. All you need is always taken care of. You are safe. You trust the process of life. All you need is always taken care of. You are safe. You trust the process of life. All you need is always taken care of. You are safe. And now I invite you to repeat it with me for yourself in first person. I trust the process of life. All I need is always taken care of. I am safe. And then two more times. I trust the process of life. All I need is always taken care of. I am safe. I trust the process of life. All I need is always taken care of. I am safe. This affirmation comes from Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. And it is one of the many, many spine affirmations. The spine relates to how supported we feel in life, and most of us do not, so I thought it would be a good series of affirmations to share. It's the different issues they touch on, I feel most of us can relate to. Sorry. So thank you for joining me for the affirmation. And now it is time for the card reading of the day. And today's reading comes from the Nicoletta Chacole Tarot. And coffee.
And coffee. The morning is always brought to you by coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Without which we would not be alive to share all these things with you.
Well, geez. That's just a ton of cards fell all over the floor. Well, we're being lengthy today, but that's okay. Is that how you feel?
If I'm being entirely honest, I feel like they were trying to reach me, not answering you.
Well, go ahead and take them. I'll draw other cards.
I was gonna say, here, just take a picture of it and I'll read it later.
Okay, great.
Sorry guys, sometimes the deck just decides it really wants to...
The cards will do what they want to do with no regard for anyone. Do you want help? Do you want me to take the picture? Just taking a picture of the cards real quick.
Okay, you're good.
Alright, you can take the booklet.
No, I'm gonna do it later. I'm in the middle of a blessing. Sorry guys. I was standing right there.
Excuse me, there's a little incense. It's a bit dry. Now, this card reading will be guidance for all of you for the day ahead. So this one and this one. Anything else? I think that's all we have to say today. So, the cards that you have received are the Two of Cups and the Star. The first card points to a new partnership, and that can be taken any which way, and considering that this reading is for everyone, it means something different for each of you. It could be work, love, friendship, or something else. So there's the potential for a new partnership with a like-minded individual, and that by cooperating with this person and the interaction between you and they, you will find inspiration and be guided forward on your path. Sometimes this person in question is someone we are overlooking. So just a heads up. And as a third card to add, this is the Nine of Wands. This card says to bide your time and gather resources, that all you need will be available to you when the time is right. Sometimes that can be a hard thing to take in. It can be very difficult to be patient. Just feel inclined to keep shuffling. Next is the Eight of Discs and the Moon. So the first card says to seek training from someone who has the skills that you need to move forward. And for some of you, it actually means the opposite, that if you to learn what you know better to teach others. And the second card pertains to the subconscious and things happening on a deeper level. I would actually take these two cards together as kind of like training yourself, getting to know and training your own subconscious and self to, what's the word I want? Kind of get your whole being in alignment with itself, if you know what I mean. We all want things, but we also have a lot of subconscious desires and beliefs that directly contradict that, and that you may need help in teaching yourself that, but that is my personal impression. I know that some of you guys are in difficult situations, and this card affirms that. This is the Ten of Wands. It talks about being in an oppressive situation, and that it'll only continue to become more oppressive, and that you're kind of alone. There's no one there to help you, or no one will help. So obviously exiting is kind of exiting the situation is what it comes down to. Because that card always insinuates that it's something that will continue to become more oppressive. I think we're feeling chatty. We have a lot to say to everybody today.
Oh my goodness.
Normally I don't really feel the urge to keep going, but it's just like wanting to.
Sometimes you just gotta do that.
So you guys are being treated to an extra long general reading today. This card is the Eight of Wands. It talks about receiving signs or opportunities, like little messages of light and hope, and that opportunities may come up. It's important to pay attention to what's going on around you so that you can act when it's appropriate, otherwise you may miss your opportunity. And then I got all these cards here. So we will go a few at a time, but keep in mind that they are all part of one thought. So these three. The first card describes a person, probably you, but it could possibly be referring to someone you know. First card refers to someone who is in tune with the teachings of nature, a kind of innocence or living the present and living in life or desiring to. The second card relates to being faced with an extremely important decision that will change things in a big way in some manner, and often it can be a moral type of choice. This third card indicates exiting a situation or moving on from something. And then the next three cards in that same thought. The first card also describes a person, could be you or someone you know. It describes feeling very overwhelmed by typically emotions and other people's emotions and opinions. The second card reminds you of your own power, that you have everything inside of you, or there's more to you than you think, and that it is up to you to push yourself forward. The last card also describes a person, you most likely, talks about someone who is who is very emotional, very sensitive, and can be at times emotionally oversensitive. So I think that's pointing out that if you're feeling overwhelmed and upset and feeling like you can't do it, I don't mean it in an insensitive way, but it could be suggesting that you're just emotionally overreacting and to get a grip. So that way you are in the best frame of mind to handle things. Looks like we have some, whoa.
You have some surprise cat?
Yes. We have some comments.
Hate codes.
Angel shares a bird coming into her house. It's very interesting. Okay, been trying to figure out the message. Typically, I feel as though general readings are directed to the people watching, because that is my intention when I draw them. So when it refers to other people in your life, it's usually people who are directly affecting you. I do feel the descriptor cards were all referring to you, the viewer. I used to find it strange that one could do a general reading that actually applies to multiple people, but it's possible. Okay, this card, I feel it kind of emphasizes that these cards are for you, the viewer, and so you should interpret them in that context. This is the Five of Discs. So I was kind of reaching for, what is this trying to discuss with everyone? So the issue that these cards are addressing for all of you, this card says that loneliness makes it harder for you to see the way out. and it describes suffering, and it strongly urges you to seek encouragement and support from others to help you through this dark time. When we are in dark enough of a space, it's hard for us to see clearly. So that is the main issue it wanted to address. This video will be up for replay if anyone would like to go back and go over the cards again. Soon we will be moving on to the next segment. I just feel very drawn to keep going today. This card talks about letting material concerns take all the joy out of life. So like focusing so much on financial problems or financial gain that you're unable to enjoy the things that matter. And sometimes it can refer to other types of material worries. And you are all so welcome. I'm feeling as though they're almost done saying what they wanted to say. At most, I think I feel one more. And then after this, we will be talking about the magic tip of the day. Yes. And I feel as though it has decided to summarize itself in these two cards. And yes, the star has come up. That's how I know we've come full circle. So the first card is the Three of Swords, and this talks about emotional anguish, suffering, heartbreak. But it does say that this may be an overreaction, or things may not be as bad as they feel or as they seem. And the star talks about having faith and trusting in your own path. So that's what it would like to conclude with. So that concludes today's guidance from Tarot. So next I would like to discuss the magic tip of the day. This is ways that you can incorporate magic a little bit more into your life, and sometimes it is tips for actual types of spells. So the tip I have for you today, this is geared more towards those of you who are working with spirits, and more specifically higher powers like gods and goddesses. However, it can be applicable to other higher powers and so on. So my tip is to dedicate a activity you regularly engage in to your deity. I will give you a few examples. The reason to do this is so that every time you do this, it is an offering, and the energy of that activity is being gifted to that deity, so that you're not having to make that dedication every single time. And I promise that is okay. They still receive it anyway. I'll finish this tip and then I'll respond to the comments. I do see some questions. I'll give you my own example. So my patron goddess is Athena, Greek goddess of wisdom. And so I took some time at her altar and wrote this out and everything, and did the dedication where basically I said to her that it's like from now on, forever, until I say not any longer, every single time I engage in so-called women's work, all that effort and energy I expend in doing those things is for her. She traditionally, in the old days, presided over those activities, and those things included cooking, cleaning, crafts, so like sewing, weaving, working with your hands. So whenever I do any of those things, all the energy I expend and that effort is for her. So not the object I'm creating per se, and not the food, it's like the activity. You can also dedicate the fruit of your labors. So if I wanted to add to it, I could say all the meals, all the things I actually make with my hands are also dedicated, but I felt like that doesn't work for my particular circumstance. So it's whatever you can give to them. I'll give you some other examples, but it's important to remember what you've dedicated to who, because you really should not dedicate those things to other things or purposes at all without informing the deity first, because you're taking away something you've promised them. And the reason I wanted to do this is honestly, my situation doesn't really accommodate like altar offerings or food offerings, and the best offering is attention, the energy of your affections and attention towards that being. It is an energy you actually expel when you think of someone and you think of their name or say their name, or you feel an emotion towards them, and they take that in. And my goddess is very good to me, and so it is a way I show my gratitude and thanks and make sure that she's not depleted. No, nothing is truly free, and it's just sort of like necessity. If you work all day, you have to eat to sustain your body. You can't just take all the energy out of your body and not put something back in. So I have a patron god, and I dedicated study to him. So whenever I do the work of reading books and studying and taking notes, that is for him. And you can dedicate literally any activity. Obviously, should be something under that spirit's purview. You could also just like say or think their name frequently. Anyway, that's my recommendation, because you just make the dedication once, and then every time you do it, it goes to them. I do also try to like think of her and what she represents while I cook or do these things, to really be sure I'm putting the best energy. So I try to cook with love and not like annoyance or irritation, and make sure that the things I make I'm doing in a good headspace, since I know that energy is going to her. So that's the magic tip for today. So that way, just in the normal course of your day-to-day life, you're always giving something to them. All right. It looks like we have a comment from Kristen Cornwell. She says, what spellbook would you recommend? None of them. But that's just me. I have bought many books, and I quickly end up trading them out or giving them away because I don't find anything of value in them. I will be right back because you reminded me of something. I'm gonna, where are the rest of the books? That's all of them. Okay.
Which one are you looking for?
It's blue. It's the financial magic book. It's a bright blue paperback. It's like
you
this
don't have
big.
it here.
That's fine. I didn't think I would need it.
It's
And
in
I don't really need it.
It's in the shipping box.
Okay, cool. All right, I don't have it. Even that one only has like one thing that I found particularly helpful. What spell book would I recommend? Hermetic Law. The Kybalion, which is not strictly speaking a spell book. But it is a foundational work for all aspiring magicians.
Doreen Virtue did a, in her own words, version of the Kybalion some years ago.
Yes. So I'm familiar with Dorian Virtue's copy of that.
The original is a little difficult to understand because it's translated from the ancient Greek. So I recommend the Doreen Virtue version.
So it's called Divine Magick. Doesn't really have its cover anymore. But it is an interpretation of the Kybalion. So it is not a spell book. It lists several universal principles about the function of energy, and if you understand them, you can structure your own magic accordingly with far greater effectiveness.
No magic is more powerful, and no spell is more powerful than the one you create for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Think of books as resources to build your own spells. Yeah. Don't buy a spell book.
There's no wrong way to create a spell. You can sing, you can dance, you can paint something, you could write a story, you could cast a circle and do all the la-di-da. You could burn candles or call spirits and contract them to do stuff for you.
You can cook.
You can cook.
Like the kitchen witch.
You could grow a plant.
You can always
raise a child.
Yes.
So you could cut your hair, you could braid your hair, you could groom yourself, put on makeup, paint your nails. It's all magic. Did you know if you paint your nails black, you protect yourself from receiving malevolent energy through your feet and hands? And that's why Egyptians, well, I could be wrong. That's what I heard. They put black eyeliner around their eyes to protect their eyes from evil people looking at them with evil intentions, also known as the evil eye. I don't really do rituals in the traditional sense. Like, for every spell, I don't cast a circle. I don't call the elements. That's kind of like a modern... All that comes from Western ceremonialism, which was adopted by the founder of modern Wicca, who is friends with Crowley, who stole this information from secret societies, and then he created Wicca, which is how you have the little circle and the things, and it's all kind of the same stuff.
Modern ritual magic only dates back to the early 1900s.
And I think it is more trouble than it's worth. If you identify with it and it works for you, do it.
I know plenty of people that do ritual magic who get excellent results. The thing to remember is that not all magic is created equal depending on who you are.
I personally find it very tedious, so I don't.
One of the smartest things a practitioner told me while I was learning was, "Why the hell are you complicating this?" So, it's what works best for you. Learn a bunch of different techniques and a bunch of different ways to do it, and try it all.
Yeah, read everything. Come up with what you want to do. If it seems boring or complicated, or you don't really think it works for you, then don't bother. Yeah. like the nail polish thing and makeup thing comes from, well, now it would rely mostly on a color magic. Back in the day when they used natural substances, it would have been what it was made of too. But I do paint my nails occasionally for that purpose. Typically I use black, but you can use other colors for other things, like a gold or orange on the left hand to draw in prosperity. I haven't tried that myself, but the principle is the same. What else? Tools are great. They work. You can use tools. You can use ingredients. Things do have their own individual power, but the magic comes from you, and you imbue them with your intention, which directs the power, and you add your own will to it. You can use nothing, or you can use bargain items. So you can perform magic entirely within your mind, and mentally you can visualize either the whole ritual or just the end result and moving and manipulating the energy. Yes. So I would not recommend any spell books, but that's just because I personally haven't found any value in them.
The reason I wouldn't recommend spell books is because they are usually the 11th, 12th, 13th, 25th rewrite that someone has taken from some other book and changed it to make it slightly variable so that they can sell it back to you, basically. Most spell books aren't original spells. They're just old spells that have been rewritten 100 times.
Oh, I have another foundational work to tell you. This is not saying that I approve of Crowley, but he did write something called the Magical Theorem, which is like essential understanding of how magic works.
I would say that that's true. But the thing to think about is, rather than looking for a spell book, you want to look for guidance, which is why I always recommend anything by Scott Cunningham.
He is a good author.
He is a fantastic author, and there's a lot of foundational knowledge in what he's written that is very helpful in creating your own work. So that would be my recommendation also.
So also known as Magic in Theory and Practice. I call it the Magical Theorem, but it's not actually titled that. Oh me. Well, there's the Amazon link. You don't have to buy it. You can find it in other things.
Just showing you the visual. But yes, anything by Scott Cunningham is also very helpful. The root of all of my personal magic is through the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs by Scott Cunningham.
Yes. Alrighty. So next we are going to be talking about how to manifest the life you desire. So this is the ongoing topic of guidance for the day. I'm going to be talking about manifestation, and part of this discussion is the daily reading, which comes to you from The Power Is Within You by Louise Hay. So we are continuing to read the chapter How to Love Yourself. Loving yourself and approving of yourself is important for manifestation work, because so many of our energetic blocks, the root is really feeling not good enough or not deserving, and that completely impedes our ability, or even just slightly impedes our ability to attract greater prosperity, relationship, whatever it is that you desire. So sometimes we're not sure what that means to love ourselves. So I'm reading through this 10-point list of how to do that. And today I'm reading number 6. Loving yourself means supporting yourself. Reach out to friends and allow them to help you. You really are being strong when you ask for help when you need it. So many of you have learned to be so self-reliant and self-sufficient. You can't ask for help because your ego won't let you. Instead of trying to do it all yourself and then getting angry at yourself because you can't make it, try asking for help next time. There are support groups in every city. There are 12-step programs for almost every problem. And in some areas, there are healing circles and church-affiliated organizations. If you can't find what you want, you can start your own group. It's not as scary as you might think. Gather together 2 or 3 friends who have the same issues that you have and set up a few guidelines to follow. If you do it with love in your heart, your little group will grow. People will be attracted like a magnet. Don't worry if it starts to grow and your meeting space gets too small. The universe always provides. You really can be there for each other. I started the hayride in Los Angeles in 1985 with 6 men with AIDS in my living room. We didn't know what we were going to do about this intense crisis. I told them we weren't going to sit around playing Ain't It Awful because we already knew that. We did what we could on a positive level to support each other. We're still meeting today and we have about 200 people coming every Wednesday night to West Hollywood Park. It's an extraordinary group for people with AIDS and everyone is welcome. People come from all over the world to see how this group functions because they feel supported. It's not only me, it's the group. Everyone contributes to making it effective. We meditate and do visualizations. We network and share information about alternative therapies and the latest medical methods. There are energy tables at one end of the room where people can lie down and others share healing energies by laying on hands or praying for them. We have science of mind practitioners they can talk to. At the end, we sing and hug one another. We want people to go out feeling better than they came in, and sometimes people receive a positive lift that lasts for several days. Joe says, "Oh, got through of there." I'm not sure what that means. Support groups have become the new social form, and they are very effectual tools in this complex day and age. Many New Thought churches such as Unity and Religious Science have ongoing weekly support groups. Many groups are listed in New Age magazines and newspapers. Networking is so important. It sparks you and gets you going. I suggest that people who have similar ideas share time with one another on a regular basis. When people work together on a common goal, they bring their pain, confusion, anger, or whatever, and come together not to moan, but to find a way to go beyond, to rise above and grow up in a way. If you are very dedicated, very disciplined, and very spiritual, you can do a lot of work on yourself by yourself. When you are in a group of people doing the same thing, you can make quantum leaps because you learn from one another. Every single person in the group is a teacher. So if you have issues that need working on, I would suggest, if possible, that you get into a group of some sort where you can work them through. So, I would like to add my 2 cents to this reading. I've never tried 12-step myself. Some people like it, some don't. So if it works for you, look for that. If not, there is something else. There are a lot of organizations and there are church-affiliated support groups, but there are support groups associated with mental health centers and hospitals as well that are more secular. And of course, other religious organizations also offer their own support groups, as well as like LGBT or gay centers also have support groups. And sometimes there are groups that just meet at like colleges or community centers. So don't feel, if it makes you uncomfortable, don't feel like you have to go to a church or a 12-step. And going to a support group or a group therapy is just one way to support yourself. So today's how to love yourself a little bit more. Today's loving yourself means supporting yourself. There are actually a lot of other ways to support yourself, and that's what I really want to bring up. I would love for you guys to bring up in the comments ways that you have found to support yourselves when you're either having a hard time or you're struggling to like learn something or to achieve something, ways you kind of are there for yourself. I know we use the term self-care a lot. I would like to kind of move towards like self-parenting parenting. Because a good parent supports their child, encourages them, guides them, helps keep their spirits up as they grow up and figure out the world. And it is something that we should do for ourselves, especially since many of us didn't get adequate nurturing growing up. So some of the ways that I know of supporting ourselves is to like make a list of things you find soothing and comforting that are also healthy coping mechanisms, such as having a hot cup of tea, a hot bath, just lying down, stretching, watching funny videos, sitting on Pinterest and looking at pictures of things that make you happy or that you enjoy looking at, daydreaming, listening to music, dancing. It doesn't have to be this extravagant stuff like going to the spa or getting your nails done. I didn't even know that that's what people thought self-care was until like the last week. So my idea of it kind of came from therapy, where self-care is more like be sure you bathe every day and feed yourself adequately throughout the day and set yourself up for success. So if you struggle to do these things, it's easier for you to do them, like spending one day a week cooking all your meals for the week and then freezing them, or when you go shopping, buying foods that are easy to eat or microwave, and not bringing food into the house in the first place that that is not good for your health, because if it's not there, you won't eat it. But also, like treating yourself, it's okay to have, no one has to be perfect. Eating once in a while something you really enjoy is self-care. Telling yourself that you're doing your best and you're growing as a person is self-care and a way to support yourself. Praise yourself, say that, I'm doing my best and I'm getting a little bit better all the time. Wrapping yourself really tightly in a bunch of blankets and just curling up with a show you've watched like a million times that you really like. It's just being in touch with your needs and being aware of things that you find personally nurturing, things that nurture your spirit, things that nurture your heart. Supporting yourself is doing things for yourself that allow you to approach your life and all the things you need to do in the very best frame of mind possible. It's like support helps you be your best self and to put out your best effort forth each day. So just think about what it is you actually need in order to feel like you are putting your best foot forward and to approach life in a more level-minded, contented place. For some of us, that may be easier to figure out. For others, it may be something that you've never thought about, and it could be very difficult to figure out. So just be patient and kind with yourself, because it's worth it. You're worth taking care of. So those are my thoughts about the reading today. And again, I'd love it if you guys shared ways that you currently support yourselves or things you think would help you for you to do for yourself. So, I would like to invite everyone to comment or ask questions about anything that's on your mind or anything that has come up during this report. If you would like more information about myself and what's behind this report, I suggest you visit patreon.com/freedomdreamcoaching. That link is in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this morning report, I encourage you to like and follow my page so that you continue seeing it each morning. The report is at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time every morning. Yes. I think that's it. So I'm going to enjoy my cup of coffee, but we will be bringing the report to a close soon. All right, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So I would like to thank everyone for watching the report today. And I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of your week. I look forward to seeing you guys later today and tomorrow morning. Be blessed.